Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, welcome to a different sort of episode of Miami Dice. My name is Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
And I'm Sam Healy.
And today we're taking a look at Alien Frontiers. Now, we've already talked about Alien Frontiers way back when it first came out in Edition 1. Now there is Edition 4, in which apparently females are now allowed on in the Alien Frontiers.
Come on in.
Societal progress.
Yeah. The game is basically the same. What they add in Alien Frontiers in this one is they add the upgrade pack that came out earlier. So instead of upgrading your cities as pieces of candy that on the board it looked like you could scoop them up and eat them, now they're little plastic things. And I've already reviewed the upgrade pack, and they might have fixed some other minor things that I didn't notice, but the game is essentially the same game.
Yep.
So what we're going to do here, I'm not even going to show you gameplay for Alien Frontiers. We're just going to talk a little bit about our thoughts about Alien Frontiers and just basically the game itself. So, Alien Frontiers came out about 5 years ago. It was one of the first games that came out on Kickstarter. It brought the idea of Kickstarter to light. Thanks a lot. But, no. What is this?
I don't know, you're so violent. I think it was definitely, the thing about it is, even though like you said, it was one of the first games that came out from Kickstarter, it is still one of the very best ones that came out from Kickstarter.
It is.
You know, it's sort of the game that not only started to popularize the idea, but made people think, wait, good games can come from here.
That's true. That's true. And I was just kidding there. I'm not opposed to Kickstarter that much. Alright, but, so Alien Frontiers itself is compared almost always to one other game, Kingsburg. Because it's a game in which you roll dice in your turn and place them on the board in various places. Now, there's other games that have come out since that do it. Euphoria does it, but not a lot of games do it. Now, when you first played Alien Frontiers, did it bother you that your spaceships were dice?
No, not really.
Because you're a big theme guy, and I thought...
Yeah, I did, but it didn't really... I took it for what it was. It was a space-themed worker placement game, but it was on the lower... I mean, it was a Kickstarter game, so I didn't have high expectations. I didn't have high hopes.
Okay.
So when the spaceships were dice, I was okay with that.
No, I that idea that the dice are the spaceship, for me, kind of goes away very quickly. I simply treat it as...
More like workers.
These are my dice, my whatever you want to call them, and I'm going to be tricky in my placement and going to utilize them to the best of my ability. Right. But the idea that it stops clashing with my brain very quickly, you know, because the game is interesting. Once you roll those dice, you no longer need to think about, where are my spaceships going to travel this turn? You just, where am I going to put my dice, you know? Right. Trigger, what power am I triggering? And I think it's very interesting. I don't have a problem with that theme clash.
And this is one of the first games, worker placement games, where you put workers down and they stay down till your turn. So instead of everyone's workers being placed off, we put them on a turn order, I could put something down and it would stay there till my next turn, and I could put it, if I rolled properly, back into the same spot. Mm-hmm. This game has a very high interaction factor that you might not think about at first, because not only are you blocking each other with dice, but there's at least one spot on the board where you are deliberately stealing from other players.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that... Kingsburg does it too, but that's one of the things that one of the problems I have with the game.
I thought you loved interaction.
Well, I do like interaction, but it's this kind of interaction that you could be locked out of multiple spaces on the board a lot. Every time it comes back around to you, the thing that you need or the thing that you really want to do, you cannot do because the other people keep rolling and placing their things there every time, and when it comes, because their stuff stays on the board until it comes back to them, you're locked out again. Mm-hmm. Most recently, the last time we played this a few days ago, that's what happened. It happened a lot, not only to me, but it also happened to the guy that was sitting next to me and one of the other players. So 3 out of the 5 players, that happened multiple rounds.
Okay.
where they could not do what they needed to do or wanted to do because the people were rolling the same dice, were taking the thing, and they were just, I mean, it's one of those things, I guess, where it works out over multiple plays, I guess, with, I don't know what you would call it,
I think you just need to
statistical rolling and all that kind of stuff. No, you have to. You have to mold and you have to... But there are certain things that you do need to do. You need to get more dice. You need to get more ships. If you can't... If people keep filling up all those spots and you can't get it, that puts you way, way, way behind.
Right.
And you really can't recover from not having as many dice. I mean, the guy who won by a long shot was the guy who was rolling 6 dice for most of the game.
Right.
You can't recover from that.
I just think the game is so... See, I have that issue a little bit more in Kingsburg than I do in this game, because in this game, if someone gets out to an early lead, they're going to get picked on.
That's true.
And if you pull them back and pull you up one, I mean, the game, you don't win with that many victory points. So if you take them down and you up one, that's a gain of 2 points on them. 2 points in this game is a big deal.
Well, I think the guy, he won with like a 4-point lead.
Well, yes, but that was... but he wasn't winning initially.
And nobody went after him.
Well, that's because that was...
And it's because I wasn't able to.
Right.
I was able to, but I was trying to do something else. Okay. Now listen, here's the thing though. The game is 2 to 4 players, although if you buy the factions pack, you can play with a 5th player. Do you like a certain number of players for the game?
5 was kind of meaty.
5 was a little long. It wasn't as horrible as some games are with 5.
Right.
I thought it went along at a decent pace.
Right.
4 is a pretty good number for it. But I played it with 3, and I really like it with 3.
I like it best with 3 or 4.
I would cap it out at 4. I
Yeah.
don't think I would like playing on this with 5 players anymore. I don't know about 3. I've never played it with 3, but I have played it with 4, and I think I enjoy it much more with 4.
This is the kind of game that is going to give you a good amount of interaction no matter what, and your turn simply comes around a little fast.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of stuff going on. Whether you have 3 people or 5, there's still a lot to deal with.
Right.
You know, and with 3, that turn's going to come back around quicker to you. The board's not going to be necessarily more open because things close off, depending on the number of players. But it picks it up a little bit. It makes it a real snappy game, and otherwise it'll just slow down. It'll drag out, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3, 4, sweet spot.
Now, I don't believe you play with factions.
I haven't yet, no.
Now, factions is something that I really like for the game because essentially it gives you A, a special ability, and B, a board that other people can pay you to use or you can use for free. And it's usually, none of them are like major, oh, this is completely a cool thing, but they're neat little things, and sometimes, especially in a 5-player game when everything else is being blocked off, there are places you might want to go to.
Right.
I like the addition of it a lot. The 5th player is not that big of a deal to me.
Sure.
But I do like them, and if I can help it, I will always play with them as if people have played the game before.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it has to be somebody that's played the game before. I think it would be fine to use factions on an entry level as well.
Well, see, that's a point I want to make about the game itself. I think I like Alien Frontiers a lot, but the more I play it, I realize it's not as easy to teach new people it because each spot on the planet has a special power.
Yeah.
And even though they are related to the place they're near, it's still not automatic. Every card that people have in front of them has a different thing that it can do. There's 3 different things you can put on the board, the positron or whatever. And
Right, the fields.
There's just a lot going on, and so it's not... I wouldn't consider this a gateway game.
No, it's not. I don't think it's a game. But if you're going... what I was saying is if you're going to teach a new guy how to play it, I don't see that you're adding that much to the game. There's already a lot. You're just adding one more thing.
Well, it depends on the number of players, right? I mean, if you're adding 5 players, you're adding 5 new things they need to know and remember.
We're not playing with 5 players again.
If you're adding 4, I mean, that's 4, right? Now, I don't know. I'm agreeing with Tom here a little bit, where if I was going to teach this, I haven't played with a faction, but I'm familiar with them. I've read them. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch them for somebody new. The game's got plenty for me to teach. And then, if people are really loving it, they want a little bit more, they want to feel unique in the game, then I'll throw that in, you know, it's just to spice it up. But yeah, there's plenty in here to crunch on.
I have more confidence in my newbies.
Has any game that does the same thing Alien Frontiers come out since it's come out and surpassed it? Or is it still very relevant?
I think this is... I would pick it up today if I... and enjoy it just as much. And wouldn't feel as though I've played such and such game. And this is now... I've played such and such game and feel like, I could have left this on the shelf and I already would have had a similar experience. No, I think this is still very relevant. So
when we did our top 10 list, games that murdered other games, this one hasn't been replaced by anything.
I don't think so.
What about you?
If you...
I'm not saying it's showdown like with Kingsburg or something like that.
Something that helps
I'm saying
also...
Something that invalidates this? No.
Something that helps it also, in my case, is that the theme is very well done. I like the artwork a lot. I like the space theme a lot. So even something like Kingsburg, which is also good, has a theme which does not appeal to me nearly as much as this theme. I just like landing on the planet, having the cool powers. It just works. Yes, I know the spaceships are dice, but it's got a great, that retro 50s sci-fi retro feel is prevalent. It's great. I love it. So no, I don't think it's been replaced.
No, I don't either. I guess I kind of, at some level, I guess I prefer Kingsburg over Alien Frontiers, but I think they essentially scratch the same itch, but this is a sci-fi itch, and this is a...
Yeah, they're comparable.
And Kingsburg is a... I think they're so similar that if somebody likes Kingsburg, they're going to like this. If somebody likes this, they're probably going to like Kingsburg. They're that similar, I think. I mean, I don't know. I prefer the fantasy theme in this instance with this kind of a game, whereas I wouldn't in like a space opera type of game.
I think they're very similar games and they're compared all the time, but I have them both on my shelf because it's
two different kinds of people.
But it's not just that, they feel different in the long run.
Right.
In Kingsburg, I'm getting resources, building buildings, and done. Here, there's a little bit of area control. There's a little bit of take that.
Right.
It just gives me a different feel overall.
Gotcha.
All right, so final thoughts. Thumbs, opinions on the game.
I'll give this 2 huge tentacled spaceships up. I think it's a really great game.
How did Cthulhu get in here?
Tentacled spaceships.
Tentacle.
Oh, okay.
Tentacled spaceships. I looked at the back of the box. It's got a solid theme. A little bit chintzy with the dice, but I'll look over that. It plays very well, seamlessly. It's just a game that I forgot how much I enjoyed the game. Because it had been a while since we played it recently. It had been a while before then. Right. And I had forgotten how much I did enjoy the game initially. And it reminded me. I really do. It's a game that I will play anytime it hits the table. I will not think, do I want to put the time into that game or not? I know I enjoy this game and I'll play it anytime it hits the table.
See, for me, Alien Frontiers hits a really good balance between... This is a discussion that's been killed to death lately a little bit, but a good balance between good mechanisms and a real good theme and some real good take that. I think those two things in this game mesh really well. The game lets me feel like I'm being clever with my dice placement, with my power usage, but lets me also enjoy a rich theme and enjoy some, a little cutthroat action. So I like that a lot. I'm going to give it 2 of those, you got to buy them yourself, rocket dice.
Not yet available.
Up, and then put a positron field right over that so you can't mess with them.
Alright. I got a holographic decoy. My number, I'm giving 2 strong thumbs up, which is pretty lame for our show. Sorry, guys. But I like it a lot. It's a solid game. It's been in my top 100 since it's come out. I love the theme. I love the mechanisms. I think there's no game. Kingsburg is the closest to it, But other than that, there's nothing else like it. And that's something I like quite a bit. The 4th edition comes with tuck boxes also.
That's important.
Yeah, so anyway, great
Tuck
game.
boxes, you
Definitely
say?
get it. Alien Frontiers.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.